It's Labor Day, and so that is the official end of summer. So let's go ahead and do our summer movie recap. And what a summer it was for the movies. We had a plethora of movies that we've already seen before, um, and some that were kind of reboots of some other classic films. And then we had um, um, some really interesting disasters that happened. So we'll start with our first category, our comic book and superhero movies. There's been a lot of talk on the internet saying that that we're the audiences are just done with superhero movies. There's just so many of them out there. But actually, this year we only had 3 during the summer, with a total of 4 coming out this year. The 3 that came out in the summer were um, the Avengers sequel. I think it's called Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, and Fantastic Four. The other one was Kingsman, which came out in the spring and did phenomenal box office for a spring movie. But we're just focusing on the 3 superhero movies that came out. And of course, box office-wise, Avengers without a doubt was the winner, and I guess it did its job. I didn't see it. I for one, I'm kind of superhero out, and but compared to last year, where we had 5 in that came out during the summer, and I think that's what created this backlash of and just audiences are tired of superheroes because of last summer and last year. Last year we had I think about 10 superhero movies that came out last year, and this year we only have 4. But the big surprise, well, not really a surprise, because it just did not look pleasing with the trailers, was Fantastic Four. It completely bombed. There was a lot of talk on the industry about the director not communicating well with the cast or the crew or the studios, kind of like um, squared himself away in his little video village and not really giving any type of direct communication to anyone. And that's one story. The other story is that the studio just did not like what he gave, and so they took away his final cut and recut the movie to where it was. But all in all, I mean, the film was a mess. Nothing happened during the first hour. Finally, something happened in the last half hour, and then it was over. And there was the script just was not working. And so that would have been one of the death nails. The other death nail was the Marvel gamble. Now, last year the Marvel gamble was Guardians of the Galaxy, and it paid off beautifully. It was this juggernaut of a film last year. This year their gamble was Ant-Man, and didn't really pay off as big as Guardians. Guardians made domestically about $300 million, give or take, and right now Ant-Man's only at 147. So a big chunk, the gamble was sliced in half, and I'm sure foreign was just paid off in the end, but um, I just don't think that it was as fun as a film as like Guardians or Avengers, and word of mouth was just like, rent it. And that's one of the big things about summer movies. I mean, they need to be events, or they need to capture the imagination of the audience, and because the audience has other ways of seeing the film. I mean, the film's going to be seen no matter what. But it just has to have that special thing where people go up to the other person and says, "You've got to see this now. It's best in the theaters. Don't wait for video." So next up is my God, there were so many remakes, reboots, and sequels this year. We had um, The Terminator, Jurassic World, Hitman, Vacation, The Transporter, Man from U.N.C.L.E., Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, Minions, Magic Mike, Ted 2, Mad Max, and Poltergeist. And all of those films, the only ones that actually captured the imagination and the audience said, go see this, was Mission Impossible, Mad Max, and the big one, Jurassic World. And Jurassic World, I think it was a fun film. I mean, it hit all the marks. It was what you expected with the Jurassic Park sequel. I mean, it didn't capture the magic of the original Jurassic Park. I mean, nothing will, nothing will. You can't capture that lightning in the bottle. However, this one captured the fun and seeing these dinosaurs and then the end fight. If you haven't seen it, I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but the end fight was pretty badass. And the guy that played the lead is he was also in Guardians of the Galaxy and last year. He's something special. I mean, I've heard rumors that they want him to play Indiana Jones or a young Han Solo in the upcoming Indiana Jones reboot or the new Han Solo film. And I say, yeah, let him do it. He has that certain young Harrison Ford aspect to it. He has that sense of humor. He has that smirk that everyone loves from Harrison Ford. But he also has, he can also kick ass like Indiana Jones. I mean, he's got that. He's got that magic. So let's see him do it. I mean, I fully support that. But my God, Hollywood. I'm sure I'm not the first one of saying this on the internet, on a blog. But stop. Stop with the reboots. Stop with the remakes. That no one wants. No one asked for a remake of Poltergeist. No one asked for a remake of Vacation. I guess people asked for a new Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger now that he's not a governor, but use him. Don't put him in as a cameo or as a supporting character. Use him as the Terminator. I mean, that whole Terminator thing was just so fucking boring. I mean, so boring. And Terminator should not be boring. My God. It was so boring. Vacation. Guys, if you're a comedy writer and you're doing a remaking a comedy classic like Vacation, you've got to be funny. You need to watch Vacation again, see what that magic was. I mean, Clark Griswold was a son of a bitch. He was an asshole. He tried to make up for his lost time with his family by taking this wild cross-country tour from Chicago to Wally World. And he was always trying to cheat on his wife and all these other horrible things. I mean, he was a bastard, but he was funny at it, and that's why it had that certain dark edge. You need to have that dark edge in a comedy like that to make it successful, or else it's just going to be European Vacation or Vegas Vacation. And Ed Helms is funny with what he does, but he just wasn't a Rusty Griswold. I mean, why would you want to go relive your childhood on a vacation that was horrible? Why would you want to relive that horrible vacation with your kids? I mean, that's the thinker right there. I mean, it's not. Maybe he's narcissistic or something like that, or self-torturing. But no, it's not. It's not a good idea. And I mean, yeah, it says Vacation, but none of the kids these days remember Vacation or have seen Vacation. They may have seen Christmas Vacation because it's a holiday staple, but the original Vacation, probably not. And it's us kids that are in our 30s at the youngest that remember Vacation remember how good that film is, and how funny that film is, and why funny that film is. And so it was just a gamble that did not pay off. Let's go for Hitman. Video games, don't do them. Just don't do them. The Transporter, it got beat by a Christian film this weekend, on opening weekend. No Jason Statham. No. Man from Uncle. Man from Uncle isn't even available on Netflix. No one remembers this show except for baby boomers. Ted 2 and Magic Mike. Unfortunately, I think that Seth MacFarlane has run his course. I mean, Family Guy's not fun anymore. That's his only show on Fox now. His Western last year was... The best joke was spoiled in the trailers with Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown. Sorry, they spoiled it in the trailer, so if you haven't seen it, and you haven't seen the trailer and I just spoiled it for you, I'm sorry. Just don't see it. It's not funny. Ted was funny, to a point, but, I mean, the big joke that was funny got spoiled for me. The Flash Gordon joke. I mean, that would have killed, but, I mean, it's a one-time watcher. And so Ted 2, no, it didn't work. Mission Impossible worked. I mean, who knew that was a surprise? I mean, Tom Cruise just said, "Let's go for broke on this one. This is my last chance," and he took that chance and flew with it. My God, that was fantastic stunt work, fantastic action film. I definitely see that. Mad Max was fantastic. I mean, who knew that taking a chance with Mad Max, and the time that they took. I mean, they took 4 years to make this film, to get it right, and props to them for taking their time. That's what movies need. They need time. They need to get it right, to make it an entertaining thing. Yeah, it didn't really do that well in domestic box office, but world box globally, it did fantastic, and now it's out on video. So if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. Just check it out. But just, I mean, this is why the box office was not as big as it used to be. People are complaining that it was extra complaints like, why aren't people coming into the movies? Because there's no originality anymore. I mean, I just went over a huge chunk of what was offered for the summer box office, and there was no originality. I mean, we had some fun. Mission Impossible, fun. Mad Max, fun. Jurassic World, fucking fun. But everything else was not fun, and for summer, we want to have fun when it comes to these tentpole films. And there's just so goddamn many of these sequels and reboots and remakes that why should we spend $25 on an evening show with our girlfriend to go see something that is not going to be all that good? Well, I mean, we could, and there's so much other things to do to spend that $25 to $35. We can go miniature golfing. We can go to the beach. There's so many other things that we can do on a date night besides go to the movies. And spend that $35 and have a better time than watching Vacation or Magic Mike or Ted 2 or Terminator or Hitman or Transporter or Man from Uncle or Poltergeist. We want to go to the movies. We want to sit in have that air conditioning, eat popcorn, drink a soda, have some candy, put my arm around my girl, and enjoy a film together. but there was just not that much. And now for the biggest disappointment of all in this summer. I mean, it's not really disappointment. I mean, we saw it coming with the trailer and with the poster, and a year ago we saw this coming. So it was just like, no. Pixels, Adam Sandler, Peter Dinklage, Kevin James as the president, ripping off a Futurama episode, a third of a Futurama episode, because it was only a third of the episode, and trying to do this Ghostbusters riff with video games, but it just didn't work. Nothing melded. I mean, and it was directed by Chris Columbus too. I mean, what the fuck happened there? What happened there? I mean, Chris Columbus, I mean, is the guy who directed Home Alone, one of the biggest holiday movies of the 90s. The movie that made Macaulay Culkin a star. The maker of a huge franchise with the Home Alone series, even though none of the mounts were good. Characters that we didn't care for. I mean, Doug Walker, one of the who does the Nostalgia Critic, said it best. I mean, we've seen comedians evolve over the years. I mean, we used to like Adam Sandler. I mean, I still love Billy Madison. I think it's a funny movie. I mean, it's a great thing to watch on a Saturday afternoon when you have nothing to do. But he keeps on playing the same character over and over again. I mean, he's taken some chances with Funny People and Punch Drunk Love and that one 9/11 Aftermath film that came out in, I think, 2006. I forget the name of it. But he, in his comedies, he's the same fucking klutz that, I mean, his character hasn't evolved. Jim Carrey's characters have evolved over the years. I mean, that's very good comparison right there. I mean, Jim Carrey versus Adam Sandler. Both of them were really big back in the mid-90s. Both of them were pulling astronomical film grosses with their films. But Jim Carrey decided to try other things. I mean, he did Ace Ventura. He did Dumb and Dumber, The Mask, the trilogy of here's Jim Carrey. And then expanded with Cable Guy, which is actually a fantastic film if you really get down to it. And went back to Liar Liar, and had some missteps along the way, of course. He also did Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, great film if you want to check that out. The Majestic, I mean, he Man on the Moon, I mean, each film, I mean, he played with different things, and that's what makes him still kind of bankable. I mean, he's not doing much anymore. The last thing he did was Dumb and Dumber 2, and that didn't really go off well because there was no magic there. And it took too long for that to come out, literally. I mean, 20 years is pretty long for a sequel. But, I mean, he just does stuff that interests him now. And I think that's what Adam Sandler needs to do. He needs to do stuff that interests him, not interesting to go on vacation. Because that's basically the running joke now with Adam Sandler films. Like, oh, another Adam Sandler film. Looks like the studio paid for another vacation for him. He just phones it in. Surprises. I mean, there was some interesting films that came out this summer, and a couple of them that I think will be in the running for a few Oscars when the nominations come out. First one is not one that I think is going to be nominated for an Oscar, but it was damn funny and damn original, and just fucking hilarious. Spy with Melissa McCarthy, and I mean, 4-letter words throughout the entire film, and that's just not because that's not why it's funny. I mean, it's funny because it's funny. I mean, just it's a hilarious thing. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. It should be coming out on video pretty soon. But check it out. I mean, it did very well in the box office for what it was. I mean, it wasn't Melissa McCarthy's biggest hit, um, but um, but I mean, it was pretty good, and it's directed by the same guy who's going to be directing the new Ghostbusters. But we'll see how that goes. Let's see now the other two. Trainwreck. I loved Trainwreck. I really loved Trainwreck. The only thing I didn't like about Trainwreck was the ending. Um, she didn't need to dance with the cheerleaders. That was forced. That was not the best. But I mean that was so funny. So funny, and Amy Schumer will be getting hopefully will get a nomination for best original screenplay, because I mean, yeah, it's a romantic comedy, but it's something that we don't see. We don't see it from the woman's point of view, and I like that she wrote the entire screenplay, and I just wish that she directed it. I mean, Apatow is an okay director. I find him a little long-winded. Um, I mean, this movie could have been cut down to about an hour and 40 minutes instead of 2 hours. So I think that it could have used some editing, but that's just in the direction, because he's a very relaxed director. He lets it flow. He lets the scene evolve, and so it takes a while to get to a scene and the main idea of the scene, but it gets there. But I do want to see her, to see her direct. I think that it'd be a breath of fresh air to see her direct. The other big movie that I think was going to get some Oscar nominations is Straight Outta Compton. I mean, my God. I mean, talk about a time capsule film, and looking at an era that, truthfully, and from that point of view, we don't see a lot of biopics about gangster rap or rap in general. I mean, the last rap sort of biopic that we had was Eminem's 8 Mile, and it's sort of a biopic, kind of fictionalized, kind of like a Rocky meets Eminem's life story kind of thing. But just the success that NWA had, especially during the late 80s, early 90s, during that tumultuous time up to the Rodney King incident, and then seeing these guys, knowing their stories now and how successful they are. I mean, that really is the classic Hollywood Cinderella story, if you want to put it that way. And just a breath of fresh air to see something like that, an important film like this. It is an important film to see. I mean, we always get one of these films during the years, especially now. I mean, last year we had Selma. The year before that, 12 Years a Slave. The year before that, The Butler. These films. I mean, and there's a lot more out there that I haven't mentioned, but are still notable. I mean, Spike Lee. Come on, Spike. Make another film, please. Let me hear your side of the story. Let me see what life looks like in your eyes again, please. I mean, just this important story being portrayed, especially in an August release in the summer, and how amazing it did at the box office. Everyone saw it. Everyone's talking about it. I mean, I went to the Hollywood Bowl last week, and these baby boomer yuppies were talking about Straight Outta Compton. I mean, that's how this film has touched America. I mean, it's not the blockbuster. It made a surprisingly a lot of money, and a lot of execs were very, very surprised with that. And I think that it should get some award recognition when those come. So that's it. I didn't touch on the animated films because they're animated films. I mean, Minions and Inside Out, and I think those were the only two that were really big. Minions, of course, because it's the Minions and they're cute and they're adorable. Who thought that they'd be able to do a huge movie, a full movie about a supporting character? And Inside Out is Pixar. I mean, they're going to find that emotion. I'm glad that Pixar's found that emotion again after the last few films. Unfortunately, they're going to be doing Cars 3 soon and Toy Story 4. Yeah. But anyway, that's it. But let me know what you think. What were your favorite movies this summer? Let me know in your comments. Of course, follow me on Instagram at A-Track Productions, Twitter A-Track Prod. Duh. It's in the description right there. And of course, if you do feel so, hit me up on Patreon too. Donate $1 so that I can continue doing these videos. New Laserdisc Memories is coming up pretty soon. I think I'm going to do Six String Samurai or Six String Samurai or something on 1979. I'm not sure yet, but those are coming up. I should have that up sometime by the end of this month. I'm going to be doing some more vlogs about other things that are happening in the creative world. Writing a new screenplay, so I'm going to be venting on that for a little bit. So subscribe if you haven't yet. Like this thing if you haven't. This video if you haven't yet. Check out my other videos because I've got a whole mess of videos in my backlog that are waiting for you to look at. And I will see you next time on the next Laserdisc Memories.